Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MLG Winter Championship 2012. I'm Day 9.
And I'm JYP again.
Re-high. We're in game number
2. Yeah, and Shakur's Plateau was the choice by Idra of Team Evil Geniuses. Let's introduce our players in the northwest position as the Red Zerg, taking it all the way to the late game in the last one, but JYP coming on top. Let's give it up for the Zerg, EGIdra.
And the man who is developing an ever larger favoritism in the foreign community. Also from Evil Geniuses, the man of 5 letters, EGJYP.
So in the last game, you know, as you mentioned, some of the mid-game things that we saw from Idra was the choice to go after those Blink Stalkers with those Speed Roaches, and there was a few times where he had the Link support, but he never actually got those two armies, those compositions to work in synergy, at least not the way that he would have liked them to.
I mean, I almost feel like you can't build that many Roaches in the matchup anymore. There's just too many good answers that Protoss has built their entire mid-game around answering. Blink Stalkers, Force Fields, Immortals. I mean, these are the core of the mid-game for Protoss. And the Zergs just jump right around this by starting to build Roaches and then going, Infestors and Lings.
Right.
And that's proven very, very effective.
Which is a little surprising because, you know, usually when we see the Zerg go Muta, you know, they're trying to keep that ground army, you know, pretty low while droning up, so that then if that counterattack army does come, you're ready with the Spine Crawlers, the Infestors, and then you can do something. But what we saw was almost, you know, a lot more Mutas than I would have expected, and even before that, more Roaches. So if you would have pulled it back a little bit, focused even maybe on droning, guaranteeing that 4th base was not going to get hit. But of course, hard to say.
There's so many different transitions that I think Idra needs to consider for this next game. I mean, if he tries to do the Muta transition at the same time he did last game, he's going to run into the issue where he simply doesn't have enough gas to surge out with Mutalisks. You want to build maybe 12 Roaches, maybe 20, but no more. So that way, when that Spire finishes, you have 1,400 gas saved up, and you can surprise the Protoss with a lot of Mutalisks. The trickle in, especially on Shakur's Plateau, you really cannot afford to do. And it looks like, oh, look at the natural expansion of JYP. 330, we see that gateway going down. Now all those fast attacks are going to be all the more threatening.
Right, and you know, on Shakur's Plateau, what do you think about the map selection for Idra?
I mean, I honestly think that in this matchup, a lot of players consider it to be very balanced. A lot of Protosses choose it because it's easy to wall in and to expand. A lot of Zergs choose it because it's fairly easy to get 3 bases up. Well, actually, maybe balanced is the wrong word for it, but it's predictable.
Okay.
I mean, what else really is Protoss going to do than early expand? It's just so convenient.
And here, the gateway's going to go down on the pylon. And so that second at the natural will be a little slow, but they'll begin to work on that gateway and get that down. The 3rd is about ready to complete. In fact, it pops up, and we see JYP now, his Nexus finishing up as well. So a little bit of delay there. Going to get the cancellation on this gateway. There it is, and the hatchery goes down.
Now, in the midst of all that, we see JYP delaying his cybernetics core because obviously the minerals were tied up due to a gateway at Idra's base.
Right.
So JYP, suddenly all those fast threats that we were talking about can't really happen.
We've seen that a lot more lately, the gateway going down, and yeah, it does delay the 3rd. It seems to be really powerful if you block both of the hatcheries, but what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, you just have to have a consistent gameplay. If you're delaying a hatch, you're delaying his economy. So as Protoss, I want to be chrono boosting a lot of probes, because if I'm trying to block the gateway to go for economy, I may as well go for economy back home. If you are letting him get his hatch up a little bit earlier, you're kind of letting him get an economic lead. Let's not battle him that way. Let's get a big attack up real fast to be able to take him out. That's sort of the logic of, do I rush or do I not? And honestly, I kind of lean towards the aggressive side of things. But, you know, we've seen a lot of effective play out of JYP when he follows it up with a Stargate, which I anticipate he'll do on this map.
All right, we'll see very, very soon, because the timing for that would be, coming up very quick. We got 2 extractors inside the main of Idra. No more here at the natural or the 3rd quite yet, but already spreading that creep out, which is going to be so important an absolute necessity that really this whole area outside the front of the main, the natural, and this potential third and fourth is completely covered in creep. If for not only reinforcement issues, but to also to get those pocket expansions as well. Lings are out now, going to catch these Zealots down at the bottom, and he is going to get a couple of kills here. He's got to focus those down, actually, as he spreads his leg out too much. I feel like he should have gotten both of those Zealots, but the Stalker comes in for a little bit of aid.
Nice push here by JYP. In Idra's position, you also have to think to yourself, ooh, am I going to be up against another Warp Gate push? Idra has 0 information, but as a Zerg player, what you do is you prepare for every contingency. You get the Roach Warren and the Evolution Chamber. Oh, there's no Evolution Chamber. Oh, what a blunder from Idra. Oh no, the Roach Warren Evo Chamber timing almost always spot on at 7 minutes. That's a shocker to see Idra not having it. There he is now getting the Evolution Chamber. Fortunately, they build very quickly, 35 seconds, another 30 for the Spore Crawlers, but man, that's cutting it very close.
Yeah, and actually, you know, oh my, JYP supply blocked.
Oh, JYP supply block.
So this, oh, there we go. Finally, we see, and actually he cancels the Void Ray and instantly goes for Phoenix. And I think that that was a pretty smart move by him. I mean, at this point, the Overlord's coming in. It's well, actually, it's probably not going to be able to see it, but it's just a little late. There we see a pylon going down. Lings are going to find it. He'll be able to take that out. We get the probe as well. Cancellation on the pylon. So saved. Macro hatch here at the natural. And, well, let's see how many, we got 13 larvae right now, up to 62 drones. I wonder if we're going to see a surge of units here momentarily. There we do see 1, 2 Spore Crawlers go down. More Roaches on their way. Of course, we got Roach Speed and Ling Speed on the way as this army from JYP moves out.
Oh, JYP not going to do just air harass. He's actually doing a big push. Looks like Idra has an answer prepared, though. He's building Spore Crawlers for the expansions, as well as a fleet of Roaches. Air goes down, a couple of Overlords. That's unavoidable in this position. That air mixture for the Protoss player is so brutal.
And he does have the Queens up. He's got the Spores as well in the main base. He's starting to do some damage there to that Void Ray, but JYP decides not to push the issue. And it does look like Idra is going to deflect that. I mean, these units are moving their way back across the map. More Phoenixes are coming out.
Continuing to just check out that southern flank. And wow, very fast Nexus right now for JYP with impeccable timing on the Robo facility and the additional gateways. He will be going for the Stalker, Sentry, Immortal Defense, and Idra looks like he wants to just try to bust down the front door. Now a little bit of Phoenix harass down on the south end. The Void Ray still continuing to stay a little bit more midward bound. But very, very nice overall map control by JYP. And it looks like, oh, Idra, oh, he's going to finish Roach Speed in 1 second. There it is. And the force fields immediately.
Those force fields, I don't know that JYP realized just how critical those force fields were the moment that the Roach Speed finishes. But now that the energy starts to go on these Phoenixes and they have less lifts to deal with, we'll see if he's going to actually go in for an attack. This ground army is starting to look bigger and bigger here, and Idra has no knowledge of this third base right now. And here he is. He's going to go ahead and go for it as the Void Ray is going to make its way back over. He's going to find the Zealot at the Zelnaga Tower, and I think he's going to go for it, but force fields will be key.
Idra's committing all in right now. He is just going to try to end this game here and now, building only Roaches. We see geysers not even being populated back in the natural expansion as Idra just continues to try to flood only Roaches right now. We see the Spire going down to help reinforce this huge attack at the third, but there is no long-term plan here for Idra.
No, not at all. In fact, there's a lift on the Queen, more Roaches, more Lings coming in here, but unfortunately he just can't seem to find a solid attack path. Taking that third means that he can do a great job. JYP can do a great job with those force fields. But gosh, what is next? What is Idra going to do with all these units?
I mean, he has to wait. It's still a minute until the freaking Spire goes down. There's another expand going down for Idra. Now he's starting to build drones, but JYP already up to 70 workers. We see that the first Colossus is already being constructed. Idra continue to be in a threatening position, but these air units are doing so much damage for JYP.
Yeah, and he's going to move forward, trying to bust the front. Where's the rest of that army? Here they are, coming in from the back. We do have some Lings making their way into the main base. These Roaches now will go ahead and move forward and attack the main army. More force fields go around in the back.
Nice play by Idra, exactly what he needed. He was in a position of desperation, needed to break in to a nice spot. Here he is, doing damage at the natural expansion. Has he killed off any workers? 11 have gone down, now continuing to surround all these stalkers. The Colossus is out, ripping apart those Zerglings at the natural expansion, and it looks like JYP will hold, and again, Idra goes for a Mutalisk transition.
Yeah, he does. Now, is that going to be or play out any differently than the last game? Now we've got several Phoenixes out on the field. In fact, just take a look at the unit counting station. There are 4. Not a ton to be able to hold off a large onslaught of mutas, as we have 5 out, an additional 6, 7 on their way.
Oh, the
so he's gonna
main
have a good
counter
amount.
attack. There's some Zerglings.
He's got to be careful.
They're threatening me with higher and higher octave ranges. And there they go, Marcus.
Yep, and there is a hole, and they're going to immediately go for those probes. Put on a hold position. They'll immediately now go into the main. The Void Ray is going to come back to help.
And it looks like the Colossus works its way back around. The probes cluster up, the Lings cluster up. The probes try to spread as best they can. Excellent control by JYP, but 50 workers have been killed, and Idra still behind JYP in that worker count.
Yeah, where are those mutas? They're not really out doing much damage quite yet. He was focusing on those Lings. There are now 15 mutas out on the field here. And notice there are less Roaches at this point. So again, this is the point where I think Idra really needs to be poking with these Roaches, even though there's not a whole lot, and then countering with those mutas.
Mutas now engaging the Phoenixes a little bit. In the main, we see the Colossus that was there now pulling away. Idra has control over the center of the map, still making drones and mutas. Like you said, Marcus, being very passive.
Yep, and holding this tower. The mutas now engaging once again with the Phoenixes, but they did take some shield damage. Now back up to full. More and more are being added to the mix, also getting that +1 air weapons for the Protoss. And so, you know, the one thing about this map is if you do get to the point of having the drones that you can just spine up, he is at 75 drones now. That can be a nice little place to sort of defend. But right now, you know, Idra doesn't have much of that defense, and his ground army is actually quite weak.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a precarious position for EGIdra as he's advancing forward. Oh, no! Oh, the Phoenix is caught off guard. Exactly what Idra needed stepping into the fray. The Colossus taking some big damage. One goes down. Can he get 2? No. He pulls back, and it looks like we see the Mutalisk getting completely ripped apart by this amazing Phoenix control from JYP. More Mutaling coming out, but JYP's army doesn't look nearly as threatening as it did last game.
Oh, no, not at all. And here now the small force is going to move forward. The Phoenix is going to get back into play. That almost half-dead Colossus needs to go. And it looks like Idra's going to commit to this battle.
He is just attacking into the front. Is the macro going to be good enough for the American Zerg player? JYP continues to blink. The units continue to stream down, and Idra is getting so close to 39 kill Colossus. I don't know if it's going to be enough. More Roaches continue to pop out. 40 kills, and there's the good game. It was not enough. JYP has won the series, and that means that JYP advances to the pools.
Yeah, we're not sure what pool he'll actually be advancing to at this point, but we've got Nick and Dante Sosis on the auxiliary desk. Guys, what's up? What do you think of that matchup?
I got to say, JYP's PVC is really, really good.
He knows what he's doing, man. That was actually very impressive. EGIdra didn't make a ton of mistakes. You know, he overcommitted once in that first game, but that second game, Shakura's Plateau, it's a little bit hard for ZVP, in my opinion.
I got a question for you guys, actually. Did you notice in the previous game, when he threw up the 3 force fields and then blinked 1 stalker in the hole to block the banelings in game number 1?
Yeah.
That was insane. That was like some of the best stalker control I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those funny things where the banelings can be the Zerg's worst enemy, because if they go off and don't kill that much, then you've actually killed off 20 of your own food for nothing, which is a terrible position to be in. And I mean, those blink baits that we're seeing Protosses do, I mean, to just suicide in is one thing, but JYP blocking is an entirely another very, very solid play.
What'd you guys think about the Muta play from Idra?
You know, the Muta switch was a little bit ill-timed, I think, the first game. The second game, it was hard because JYP already has Phoenixes out. And when you already have Phoenixes to go into Muta, if they just put a lot of resources into those Phoenixes and control them well, that can really backfire. And we kind of saw that there. He never really got enough to take out that many Phoenixes and Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, once Phoenixes are on the map, Mutas aren't free to just go control where the Stalkers are actually moving. Suddenly the Phoenixes put you in sort of a defensive position. So, again, just really well handled by JYP.
Right. Final thoughts?
I mean, huge props to JYP. Let's give him another round of applause. He has made it through and is still adamantly looking through those replays. I mean, that is commitment. After you've won on the main stage, to just want to sit down and get a little bit of extra effort. We're going to find out who gets placed into those groups. We do have a big result that just came out of the open bracket. Crazy moving from Team Infinity 7 just took down Dignitas's Select.
Yeah.
Meaning that he has advanced to pool play, and we're going to be casting him versus Sase next.
Yeah, and I don't know a whole lot about this player, so I'm interested in doing a little bit of research on our break here. But some other results as well. Of course, we gave you the results of Sheth versus Polt earlier. We have the results of Sheth's next match. What are those?
Kawhi Rice 2-0 over Sheth. A very big, shocking result after Liquid Chef took down Polt, but Kawhi Rice has been showing good form. He will now go on to pool play up against a lot of serious pros, and I know Team Light is really happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a player perform so well. Some other interesting results. Thorzane did defeat Liquid Noni 2-0 and is up against Bling. Gosu Ostoji currently up 1-0 against Puma from Team Evil Geniuses. That is a very surprising result. Doro vs. Hart has just begun. Rain versus Symbol is currently tied up at 1-1. Alive did 2-0 minigun, so exactly as you were saying, Artosis. Alive tearing through the open bracket will be placed into pools. And other than that, those are the open bracket results.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we return, it's going to be Sase versus Crazy Moving on the main stage here at MLG Winter Championship. I'm DJ Wheat.
And I am Day 9. I look forward to seeing you for another ZVP. Cheers.